That day I send you a note and also the poem. Today we are going to discuss Better My Heart. John Donne. John Donne is a metaphysical poet. I have told you who metaphysical poets. Metaphysical poets mean who lived during metaphysical age. So John Donne in this poem writes about God. Better my heart means break my heart. Now he asked God to break his heart and taking to God. He knows that he is not godly. He is not with God. Better my heart, 3% God. 3% God means God is above human, divine, and also demon. As yet but knock, breath, shine and seek to mend. Right? Mend mean make, change. That I may rise and stand. Now he want to say he will rise and stand. Or overthrow me and bend you. You are forced to break. Overthrow me. Overtake me. And bend you are forced to break. Bend you are forced to break me. Blow, burn and make me new. He asked God to make him new. I like an usurper town. New town. He liked to go to new town. Town where God is there. That is not about actual town. It's about imaginary town. And make me new. He asked God to make him new. Because he knows that he is now old. Old with demon, evil. Every man is evil, he wants to say. That is why I like an usurper town to another due. Labor to admit you. Now I am your labor. That means God is above. But oh, to no end. Reason. Your viceroy in me. Viceroy means king. That time in Portugal there was a character called viceroy. Viceroy was the king. Me should defend. You are the viceroy. Me should defend. That means you are the king that can defend me. But is captive. Now I am captured by demon, illness, if not sickness, if not evil. That means his hand is evil. Whose hand? Demon hand. And proves weak or untrue. Yet dearly I love you. That means I am with demon. Now in that note I gave you that according to Christian belief, man is sinful. Man is evil. That man is evil because of demon. If not Saturn. Saturn means Pluto. Pluto means king of underworld. Earlier Pluto was a beautiful god. His name Lucifer. He with a gang of gods, he created a fight against, war against God. As a result of that, he was banished from heaven. That is called paradise lost. After that, he and his fellow gods fell into hell. That is where Hades was made. Hades means underworld. I am betrothed unto your enemy. Your enemy means demon. Therefore, God's enemy is Saturn. Saturn means Saturn. Also Pluto, also same. It was after that, God created humans, first human, Eve and Adam. Earlier, Eve and Adam lived together, they had no passion. And there was a tree God created called forbidden tree, right? Or sometimes apple tree. God threatened them not to eat any fruit. But Saturn, in the guise of animals, hare, deer like that, time to time appeared on the earth. And when that man, Adam, is absent in that house, demon, right, convinced Eva to eat apple, right? Sometimes all animals say the tree of fruit of that tree very sweet like that. After that, Adam also threatened not to eat. One day, when he was absent, she ate. After that, she became lusty, passionate. When Adam came home, she asked Adam to eat because he loved Eva. He ate. After that, he also right sinful with passion and or lust. It was after that they lived as husband and wife. That was the beginning of the. That means that evil life was given to humans by Lucifer. Lucifer one time God, later Saturn no, what is called Pluto. Divorce me. Divorce me means break me, untie or break that knot again. That means break my knot with demon. Take me to you. Imprison me. Please take me to you and imprison me, God. Why? Except you enthrall me, never shall be free. Right? Please enthrall me, never free me from your tie, nor ever just expect you ravish me. Please ravish me. Now this is a sonnet. Yes, this is a sonnet, right? Then who can read this note? Note that you wrote. Nisra, can you read? That you wrote? That means you didn't write. Devini?
Okay, sir.
Yes.
John Donne's poem Batter My Heart is a sonnet which acquires a religious angle so that the poem can be identified as a holy poem. Here in the title, the narrator speaks to God and asks God to attack or break into his heart. Batter my heart, 3% God for you, as said, but no, breathe, shine, and seek to mend. As we know, John Donne is a metaphysical poet. During the metaphysical age, Europe kept trust on God and believed that God was powerful. In the same time period, there was also the belief about the underworld where Satan was the king. In the opening line of the mm, poem, the poet exaggerates God, saying 3%, which means God is above human world. Uh, ചുട്ടക്കിന്ന് sir. And heaven, according to the legend, There was a war between two groups of heaven that a good god called Lucifer launched a war against the supremacy of God, and in that war, Lucifer and his fellow gods were defeated. It was after that Lucifer and his friends were banished from heaven, and they fell into the underworld. If not Hades, in Hades, Lucifer became the ugliest demon called Satan or Pluto. From that point onward, Satan began making humankind sinful as a means of taking revenge on God, because it was God who created the human world. The very first human beings that created by God were Adam and Eva. Mm, on hearing that there is a new world called Earth on which humans live, Satan emerged to the world and made Adam and Eva sinful. Referring to this legend in this poem, the narrator tells that he has also been polluted with many sins by the demon Satan. The narrator also exaggerates God, saying it was God who gave him life to breathe. Therefore, now God Himself can save the narrator from all sins. He says that he may rise and stand because of the power of God. The narrator asks God to overthrow him and bend and break him by his force. That means God is so powerful to redeem mankind from sins. Of course, this poem is an insubordinate appeal from God to rescue himself from the sins of devils. In the very opening of the poem, the narrator admits that he is full of sins, which means the entire mankind is sinful. The poet does not mean that only himself is thus sinful, but beings in common. The narrator asks God to blow, burn, and make him new. The narrator wants to be a new, pure man, but he cannot do that himself since devils are more powerful than him. Nevertheless, God can do that because God is powerful to all. As we are told, the narrator wishes to move to another town, which is not sinful but pure and meritorious. The narrator admits that himself is a slave for God, so that God can take any decision on himself. God is the powerful master and he is the slave. Labor to admit you, but or to no end. Reason your vicery in me should defend. The narrator tells that he is a laborer while God himself is the king. At that time, the term vicery was used to mean king. Therefore, being the king, God can defend the narrator from any sin. He is a captive who is weak and untrue. He cannot redeem himself from his uh, evils instilled by devils, and only God can do that. Yet, dearly, I love you means the narrator emphasizes that he is trusted to God and hates devils. Uh, Though he hates devils, he is not in a position to challenge devils. Satan is fully sinful and made himself also sinful, but an betrothed unto your enemy. This means God is powerful to destroy devils and
Yes,
path than the meritorious one. Mankind needs God. Kind is to uh, salvate themselves from Satan's signs. Satan is God's enemy, so that for the narrator also Satan is his enemy. The narrator wants to tell that he is overwhelmed by Satan, not by his will, not will, but by force. What the poet here means is that man becoming sinful is not man's individual fault, but the action of devils. Divorce me, untie or break that knot again. Since mankind cannot get rid of demons easily, here the poet asks for God's help for that. It is better for him to be imprisoned in the domain of God than living a sinful life with Satan. The poet asks God to enthrall him and never to free from his world. Uh, he also asks God to ravish himself. In writing this poem, what John Donne tries to tell is that it is God who rules the human world and there are no forces to challenge the power of God. Everyone cannot understand that power of God. Only those who perceive God's power can understand God.
Right. After that, we didn't discuss the poem Cathedral Builders, didn't we? Demini?
Discuss करें ना sir.
Right. Okay. Now, this poem Cathedral Builders by John Ormond is a poem about exploitation of religion and negligence. Now, we know that cathedrals are churches. Churches are always built by, tall churches built by general public, very poor people. They are masons and carpenters. They do those things. But credit goes to the rulers. Now, cathedral or church is a place where they pray God. But when these what is called laborers, if not slaves, old, there is nobody to look after them. At least they can't go to churches. They are not allowed to go to churches. They climbed. Therefore, the poet speaks about the story of that laborers. They climbed on sketchy ladders towards gods. Sketchy ladders. Ladders are sketchy, not this right fixed ladders. Don't know at any moment they may fall and die. With winch and pulley, hoisted hewn rock into heaven. There are winch and pulley hoisting hewn rock into heaven. Inhabited sky with hammers. Defied gravity. They defied gravity because they are climbing too high. Defied the stone, took up God's house to meet him, and came down to their suppers and small beer. They are coming to their suppers and small beer. Supper means meals. When they are given meals, and the end of the day, small beer is given. Every night slept, lay with their smelly wife. Wives are smelling bad because they are unclean, but they have to sleep with them. Why? Because poverty. They have dirty dresses. Quarreled and cupped with children, lied, dispatched, and were happy or unhappy. Sometimes they quarreled with children, spat, sometimes sand, but nobody knows whether they were happy or unhappy. They were not happy, actual thing, they were unhappy. And every day took the ladders again, day by day, going to the churches, impeded the rights of way of another summer. Shallow, grew grayer, shakier, became less inclined to fix a neighbor's roof of a fine evening. They sometimes, when a neighbor asked them to fix a roof, they incline, right? Less inclined. That means they did not like it. Reason, they are too tired. Another thing is that they are church builders, cathedral builders, very powerful ones. So naves, spout, arches, clerestories so. Curse the cloud fancy graciers for their luck. Somehow escaped the plague. Got rheumatism, decided it was time to give up. At last, what happened? They grow old, get diseases, rheumatism like that. Then they can't climb on the churches. Then what happened? To leave spire to others, stood in the crowd. Now they are also going to churches to pray God. Well back from vestments at the consecration, envied the fat bishop his warm boots. Bishop, that fathers, their leaders, they sounded their boots when they went, cocked up a squint eye and say, I bloody did that. That means they were not allowed to go because they were poor laborers. Bishops sounded their boots and chased them. Yes, finally what happened? That cathedral builder tells to himself that I bloody did that. It was I who did this. It was I who made this. But I am not allowed to go because now I am old, weak, and sick. Rich and powerful people are only allowed to go inside. Please write the note. Now, give up that note. I have sent you now. They may didn't write it, Today one. Hurry. Mr. Livedne, hurry. Write like this. John Ormond's start writing. John Ormond's poem. The Cathedral Builders is a poem that speaks of the labor exploitation which is a tragedy that is practiced throughout the world. Full stop. This particular poem, inverted comma, the Cathedral Builders, deals with the labor exploitation that is practiced in the Christian church. Yes. Church is a place that should appear for the suffering people, but here the poet shows how the church works to oppress, oppress poor people. Yes. Therefore, at the beginning of the poem itself, the poet is sarcastic towards the Christian church. Full stop. The poet brings out an argument saying that church being being a holy place also practices illegal and antisocial things. Full stop. Here we are reminded of remarkable and breathtaking, breathtaking, breathtaking means wonderful, surprising, breathtaking creations in the world like the Great Wall of China, comma, Egyptian pyramids, comma, Taj Mahal in India, etc. Taj Mahal in India, etc. Yes. As the builders of them, the Kinso emperors, are known, but the real laborers who shed, S-H-E-D, shed, sweat, S-W-E-A-T, sweat and tear, T-E-R, tear, in doing that, are not known. Yes. Nobody wants to talk about the laborers who were the actual slaves who work hard to build them. Right. Thus, them full stop. Thus, behind the curtain, characters are forever secrets, and the credit always goes to the kings and emperors for building them. Yes. Of course, that is the nature of the world in which we live in. Right. In this poem, we meet the protagonist as a group of laborers who work hard in building a church. Full stop. Almost all the people in the world are bound to a religion and everyone hopes a solace, S-O-L-A-C, solace, for their minds through religion. Yes. However, in this poem, the poet shows how the religion oppresses, O-P-P-R-E-S-S, oppresses man instead of helping them. Right. A church is a house of God, and that is where the people speaks to God. Full stop. The poet here criticizes the behavior of church, its priests and its priests and religion before the innocent laborers. Now, write within inverted comma, quotation mark, these first two lines, they climbed on sketchy ladders towards God, with winch and pulley hoisted, hewn rock into heaven. Yes. Did you write?
තාම ලියනවා sir.
They climbed on sketchy ladders towards God with winch and pulley, hoisted, hewn, rock into heaven. Hare. Writing thus in the past form, comma, the poet describes how the laborers worked facing a risk for themselves and how the authorities of church ill-treated those poor laborers. Yes. There were no safety ladders for the workers to climb on climb on the top of the building of the cathedral. Yes. Here the poet criticizes the priests for exposing these poor workers to a dangerous activity.
සර් චුට්ටක් ආයි කියන්නකෝ.
Here the poet criticizes the priests for exposing these innocent workers for a dangerous activity. Full stop. Using winches, 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 here word Disney, winches and pulleys, P-U-L-L-E-Y-S, pulleys, they hoisted hewn rock, H-E-W-N, hewn means chopped, rock into heaven. Yes. Are you both going to school this week, coming week?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Except those who climb up the ladders, comma, on the ground also, there are laborers doing heavy work that they have to chop, C-H-O-P, chop stones. Yes, full stop. The poet tells that they inhabited the sky with hammers, comma, and defied, D-E-F-I-E-D, defied gravity. Yes. When the poet tells that they defied gravity, comma, we could understand that those poor laborers had to work on a higher place higher place from the ground. Yes. Full stop. Here the poet shows the formidability of their tasks, task, T-A-S-K, full stop. Any slight mishap, M-I-S-H-A-P, mishap could lead them to any slight, S-L-I-G-T, slight mishap, M-I-S-H-A-P, mishap means mistake, could lead them to die untimely, full stop. It is also understood that those laborers did not hesitate to work hard on such higher places because they are also devoted to God. Now it is also tried for them to work with God. Yes. It is also a tried for them to work with God. Yes, now we know that God is invisible. We never see. Yes. God is invisible. And that is just a concept and the man alive risks their lives in building a tall cathedral for devotees to gather and invoke God. Invoke God. Full stop. The poet is also sarcastic towards the authority for building such mansions, MANSIONS mansions, dedicated for God. Yes. These laborers are very poor and that is suggestion for the extreme poverty in the country. The රටේ දුප්පත්කම තියෙනවා. There is poverty, but they are building churches. Full stop. Despite there are so many tragedies, the religion giving priority in building churches is something really satirical. Yes. In human society, man is driven to a dangerous work in working for God whom they have never seen. Now please write these 2 lines, second stanza 2 lines and new read. And came down to their supper and small beer. Every night lay with their smelly wives. Right, okay. Yes, Vidya Ismaili Vayus. As we are told, these poor laborers came down to, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Came down to their suppers and small beer. Yes. It is also known that they are just given a meager meal, M-E-A-G-R-E, meager means small, meager meal, but not delicious and nutritious meals. Full stop. Since they work hard, they should be given nutritious meals, but these slaves, S-L-A-V-S slaves, are just given a meager meal, M-E-A-G-R-E, meager meal, full stop. Virtually, that is rigid social injustice that the poet is speaking here. Yes. Building a cathedral is not a task that could be completed in a short time and that needs a long time effort. Full stop. Therefore, we can think that these laborers dedicated much of their lifetime in doing this task. Doing this task. Yes. The other tragedy about these laborers is that every night they sleep with their smelly views, smelly views, right? Because of poverty, their views are also smelling bad. Yes. They are not rich enough to clean their bodies and dresses properly. Yes. What the poet wants to say is that these poor laborers have no solace for their lives at home either. Yes, they cannot be satisfied with their bad smelling views. Yes. Next we are told that those poor laborers quarreled and cuffed, cuffed the children, lied, spat, spat, sang, sang, were happy or unhappy. Yes. Any father after coming home cannot be expected to quarrel with children but enjoy with them for a momentary happiness, full stop. Children also expect love, warm communication and affection from children. Yes, affection from parents, ne? Affection from fathers, affection from fathers. Yes. However, that does not happen in these poor families, full stop. The poet also wants to tell that those poor laborers experienced a monotonous life, monotonous lifestyle, having no any change, full stop. Life for them is always tedious, TEDIOUS. Right. Please write these 2 lines and every day took the ladders again, impeded the rights of way of another summer, Did you write? Did you write?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Your exam, I think, in next August. Am I correct? No.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh. Not December. Huh?
Oh, sir.
Yes. Then, after this poem, we have other 3 or 4 poems to complete. That will be completed soon. And next, let's go to Othello. Right? After completing Othello, other novel, then syllabus completed. After that, past papers only. Okay? That means another 2 months syllabus is completed. Okay? Yes.
සර් අනිත් නවල් එක මොකක්ද කරන්නේ?
ඒක තමයි. ඔයා මොකද්ද කරන්නේ?
ඉස්කෝලෙන් තාම කිව්වේ නෑ සර්.
ඔව්. නිශ්රා?
මං තමයි සර්.
ඔව්. මේ එතකොට දෙමිනි
අපේ නෙක්ටයින සියුයි ටෙස්ට් කරන්නේ සර්.
නෙක්ටයින සිව් එක ඒකයි. රයිට්. බලමුකෝ. Right. Let's see, okay, after doing this. Throughout the year, those laborers had to do the same thing irrespective of the changes of seasons. Yes. They did not get any entertainment in the season of summer, as the rest of the people have. Yes. Next, the poet says that swallows grew grayer, shakier, here available the word shakier, and became less inclined, inclined to fix a neighbor's roof of a fine evening. Yes. That means they dedicate their lives for church building and when a neighbor requires their help, they do not like it. They do not like it. Yes. The reason is that they are prestigious workers who build churches, build cathedrals. Nisra, can you read today? Not finish. Yes.
John Ormond's poem "The Cathedral Builders" is a poem that speaks of the labor exploitation which is a tragedy that is practiced throughout the world. This particular poem, "The Cathedral Builders", deals with the labor exploitation that is practiced in the Christian church. Church is a place that should appear for the suffering people, but here the poet shows how the church works to oppress poor people. Therefore, at the beginning of the poem itself, the poet is sarcastic towards the Christian church. The poet brings out an argument saying that church, being a holy place, also practices illegal and antisocial things. Here we are reminded of remarkable and breathtaking creations in the world like the Great Wall of China, Egyptian pyramids, Taj Mahal in India, etc. As the builders of them, the kings or empires are known, but the real laborers who shed sweat and tear in doing that are not known. Nobody wants to talk about the laborers who were the actual slaves who work hard to build them. Thus, behind the curtain characters are forever secrets, and the credit always goes to the kings and emperors for building them. Of course, that is the nature of the world in which we live in. In this poem, we meet the protagonist as a group of laborers who work hard in building a church. Almost all the people in the world are bound to a religion, and everyone hopes a solace for their minds through religion. However, in this poem, the poet shows how the religion oppresses man instead of helping them. A church is a house of God, and that is where the people speaks to God. The poet here criticizes the behavior of church, its priest and religion before the innocent laborers. They climbed on sketchy ladders towards God, with winch and pulley hoisted hewn rock into heaven. Writing thus in the past form, the poet describes how the laborers worked facing a risk for themselves and how the authorities of church ill-treated those poor laborers. There were no safety ladders for the workers to climb on the top of the building of the cathedral. Here the poet criticizes the priest for exposing his poor workers to a dangerous activity. Using winches and pulleys, they hoisted hewn rock into heaven. Except those who climb up the ladders, on the ground also there are laborers doing heavy work that they have to chop stones. The poet tells that they inhabited the sky with hammers and defied gravity. When the poet tells that they defied gravity, we could understand that those poor laborers had to work on a higher place from the ground. Here the poet shows the formidability of their task. Any slight mishap could lead them to die untimely. It is also understood that those laborers did not hesitate to work hard on such higher places because they are also devoted to God. It is also tired for them to work with God. God is invisible, and that is just a concept. And the man alive risk their living in building a tall cathedral for devotees to gather and invoke God. The poet is also sarcastic towards the authority for building such mansions dedicated for God. These laborers are very poor, and that is a suggestion for the extreme poverty in the country. Despite there are so many tragedies, the religion giving priority in building churches is something really satirical. In human society, man is driven to a dangerous work in working for God whom they have never seen, and came down to their suppers and small beer every night, slept, lay with their smelly wives. As we are told, these poor laborers came down to their suppers and small beer. Uh, it is also known that they are just given a